What's up guys, welcome to Munchkins Gaming, where we take your gaming to the next level. This is Munchkins logging in to bring you your Brave Cross Hero of the Week. This week's Hero of the Week is the old drunkard but wise hero, Wyzen. Wyzen is considered as a mid-support hero with ratings of S for survivability, A for DPS, and S for support. His main skill is called the Divine Blessing. This increases the magic immunity and bow immunity by 30% to all allies. Each time a damage is received, Wyzen restores HP equal to 44% of his own attack, with a 20% chance to be immune to that damage. He also gives out 50% control immunity if friendly side has more than 2 sellsword heroes. This lasts for 13 seconds, and during this time Wyzen can't restore rage for other heroes. This also gives an ability called Drunken Fist if you have the Gourd Sage out. So there is a 60% chance to be immune to damage source when Gourd Sage receives damage. 15% chance to deal 7 times damage to the target as well. His basic attack deals 150% attack damage to 3 enemy targets, and attack doesn't add any rage. And this also adds 5 rage to all allies. His main talents include Divine Defiance, and when Wyzen is on the field, Rex skills and talents won't fail or be negated. Wyzen has a 30% chance to reflect, silence, stun, calm, burn, and other debuffs back to its caster. Exposed Armor 2, Rage 5 are all self-explanatory, and of course his next talent is Gourd Sage. Gourd Sage summons a permanent Gourd Sage to assist in battle. Gourd Sage has a 50% of Wyzen's HP, 70% of his attack and defense, 100% final damage immunity, bow immunity, magic immunity, and Gourd Sage also possesses Drunken Fist talent, which I mentioned earlier. His mythic talent is called Brew Mist. Basically, he will spray a drunken mist in the forward on each basic attack after every 4 attacks. Afflicted targets' attacks have a 30% chance of being nullified. This lasts for about 4 seconds. Valiant Rider and Winged Tiger are unlocked once you get 6 and 7 stars. Unity wise, he's got Deified, and it's unlocked once you get Zion, Sagehood, which is currently locked, and Otherworlders, which is unlocked if you got the Great Sage, Kitsune, and of course Vanda. Now that we've gone through his skills and talents, let's go through his pros and cons. As always, let's start with the pros. Now, I have to say Wyzen has a very decent amount of DPS, and of course his skill, which is Divine Blessings, gives you magic immunity and bow immunity as well, even though it's only 30%, but that's on top of your regular magic immunity and bow immunity as well, and this gives out to all his allies. Now, Wyzen also restores HP equal to 44% of his own attack, with a 20% chance, of course, of being immune to any source of damage. And he also gets that 50% control immunity, so you will probably avoid getting stunned and all that, as long as there's 2 sellsword heroes in your team. This lasts, of course, 13 seconds on 5-star. However, this can be longer, I believe, if you have 6 and 7 star, but please let me know if I am wrong. However, during this time he can't restore any rage for other heroes, which is I think I think one of the best things about Wizen, it's not about his skills per se, but I think his main ability to give outrage is probably the biggest thing. But I'll talk about that a little bit later. So let's go through Drunken Fist. So Drunken Fist only works if you have at least the I can't remember, but the orange, I think that's the legendary status for your Wizen. If you don't have that, Drunken Fist won't work. So if you are at least a legend or legend +1, I believe it's just legend, then you will have the talent Gourd Sage, and this gives out a 60% chance to be immune to any source of damage, and of course he has a 15% chance to deal 7 times damage to the target. Although he will only have 70% of Wizen's attack, this is pretty strong. And of course, this Gourd acts like a tank. So if you ever run into, I guess, into a position where you don't really want any tanks in your team and you just want to pour out all the DPS you can, Wizen is probably an ideal hero for your party, because the permanent Gourd Sage in battle has that 50% of Wizen's HP, which is probably not a lot because Wizen's HP is a little bit in the lowish side, but it does have 100% final damage immunity, bow immunity, and magic immunity. So it is a pretty strong Gourd if you have a very strong Wizen. Now they can still still can be attacked with bows and stuff like that. 100% doesn't mean it's all completely negated, because obviously there are extra stats that we need to consider. Now, his mythic ability is also something I would mention. However, I haven't had the chance to actually use this because I haven't gotten my Wizen to the mythic level yet. But for every 4th attack where his targets has 30% chance of their attacks not working, is pretty good. So I mean, it's only 30%, but this lasts for 4 seconds. It's not that bad, to be honest. So I think that's it for the pros. As for the cons, I already mentioned that he has a very low defense and probably subpar HP. Being a sort of range support, you probably won't. I mean, this is sort of expected. So, I mean, if you can get more HP and defense, I mean, this will add up for your Gourd. So try and get HP and defenses for your armors, especially when you're enchanting them. It's probably the best course of action to maximize these. And of course, pump some War Souls in there as well, because they give out the most HP out of any sort of upgrades. So now that we've talked about the pros and cons, what do I think of Wizen? So I think Wizen is a very good hero. The other thing I forgot to mention, is now that we have unlocked much of the story moving forward, you can actually get Wizen's shards in the heroic instances. So I mean, there's only one place you can get it. However, you can still get it, so you don't have to spend a lot of points in order for you to get Wizen. So let's go back to what I think of Wizen. So I think Wizen is a very good support hero, much so because of his ability to add 5 rage to all allies. This is a big buff for all your allies. So basically, there's a higher chance for you to use your awakenings much quicker. Now, the only thing I have to say that I don't really like with Wizen is during his Divine Blessing, he can't restore any rage for other heroes, which kind of defeats his purpose. So I guess you could push this to the con side as well, even though you are getting a lot of buffs. You're getting a lot of buffs out of Divine Blessing, but if he can't give you any more rage, that is probably the most unfortunate thing. Now, PvE wise, there's not a lot of place for Wyzen in PvE because of obviously his low HP and low defense and subpar DPS. Even though he does add a lot of rage for your party, this is not something you actually need, especially in story mode or in other campaigns. I just don't see why you would need that much, I guess, awakenings in order for you to beat let's say 10 eunuchs or whatever the case may be. So I think in PvE, I think I would push Wyzen out of the picture. However, in PvP is where he truly shines. Wyzen, of course, I said it before and I mentioned it a lot, that basic attack that doesn't add target rage and adds 5 rage to allies is a very, very big buff for the rest of the team. Divine Defiance I didn't mention a lot because not a lot of people actually use Wreck. However, the 30% chance to reflect, stun, calm, burn, silence, or whatever debuffs comes his way is actually pretty good, especially in PvP where much of the much of the heroes that you will encounter will probably have some sort of stun, calming ability, or silencing ability. So, and of course, let's not forget Gorge Sage, which is the biggest thing when it comes to PvP. Now you can avoid, I guess, or sort of avoid in putting a front hero and can be replaced by Gorge Sage. Now, I wouldn't really sort of recommend the Gorge Sage being the main tank because it doesn't really last very long, and I do have to say it goes down pretty quickly. So you have to, I guess, compensate for that by bringing a lot of DPS and making sure you can awaken I guess quicker than your opponent, and this way you would be able to take down your opponent before they can take down the Gorge Sage, and of course take you down along with them. So I guess that's it for this video, guys. Remember to click like, subscribe, and share this video if you find it helpful at all. As always, I would like to hear from you guys what you think of Wyzen, and do you use him at all? I personally use him, especially in the cross arena matches. He is a very good hero. Granted, he doesn't last very long, but I think he is a good support hero anyway, so I just bring him with me. And again, I just have to say, I'm sorry guys, I think I'm actually coming down with a cold or something, and so my voice is kind of going and my throat really hurts. So I guess that's it for this video. This is Munchkins logging off, and I'll see you guys in the next level, and I'll leave you with the rest of the lair video.